Hi, I'm Dani.
And I'm Lelo.
And we are the Hitchhiking Ghostettes. We're a couple of crazy Disney adults that love to talk about Disney. So we thought, hey, let's make strangers listen to us instead of all the people we know who are sick of us.
It was either a podcast or an OnlyFans page of Dani's feet at the Disney parks. So, you're welcome, guys.
We're going to share our likes, our dislikes, our experiences, and travel tips with you.
And for those of you who are ready to grab some Mickey ears and create your own magical Disney experiences, message us or leave a comment so we can help book your next vacation.
And quick disclosure, we will be cursing and swearing, Musketeers, so this is your warning.
Yes. So sit back in your dune buggy as our podcast materializes. And don't forget to hurry back.
Hey, Disney adults.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to episode 7. We are celebrating. You guys helped get us to 100 downloads.
That is super, super exciting.
We're very excited.
Yes, and it's not 1,000 or 10,000 yet, but we'll get there.
We'll get there.
We had to start somewhere. So we're super, super excited, and we're so grateful and thankful to all of you who have downloaded our episodes. And then to also for all of you that are subscribing, following, and liking all of our posts and our podcasts through what we have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And then, of course, we're on Audible, Apple Podcast, and Spotify, all the fun stuff. So really, really grateful to all of you guys for following the Hitchhiking Ghostettes. This is amazing. Very, very excited.
Yep.
Now, I think we're going to post a little video. My hubby got us some gifts, which are these awesome mugs right here. Look, they're so cool. And on the back, it says, if you can dream it, you can do it, which is amazing. So we're really, really excited about those. And we're just gonna celebrate a little bit later. We're gonna have some cake and stuff, and we'll have a little bit of video for that too. So thank you everybody so much. We're very grateful.
The best part of these gifts, which you'll see in that post, is when Lelo instantly dropped hers as she opened it.
That was so embarrassing, and my scream is straight up so ugly. I'm really hoping it doesn't become a sound on the internet somewhere, because I'm afraid it's ugly.
That'd be great.
Yes, and then, of course, along with the celebration of our 100th download, it's also Disneyland's 70th anniversary, so lots of cool merch and stuff going on in Disneyland.
Lelo got one little piece of it here.
Yes, just one little piece, a shirt. I have a pin at home, but other than that, definitely hoping at some point I'm able to make some kind of a merch haul for Disneyland's 70th at some point.
We'll be there in February.
Yeah. Next February. So far away.
It is very far away.
But
we do have a trip between now and then, though.
Yes, we do.
We'll be in World.
Yes, that's true. We will be.
But
so that'll be
okay.
a good time. But yeah, right now the Disneyland 70th merch, that stuff is amazing.
It was beautiful. Oh, there's so much amazing, amazing stuff. The ears, the clothes, the pins,
Did you see the conductor hat?
Yes.
Oh, I love the conductor hat.
Love
it so much.
The conductor hat is great.
Mm-hmm.
I hope there'll still be some. And
then they've got of course, the crystal jewelry, which this jewelry isn't new. It's the Disneyland marquee necklace that you might have seen other Disney influencers like Megan the Millennial wearing. I love that marquee necklace. Mm-hmm. And now they've got a matching ring and a bracelet. But then now, Crisley just came out with the Walt Disney World version, which is the sign you drive under when you're going into Disney World. Love it. And so they're making that into a necklace, ring, and a bracelet. So
they are making it into a bracelet too?
Yes, they are.
I'll be all over the bracelet.
I know. Love it. So I'll be talking to my husband about that so I can add those to my jewelry collection at some point. I just got the side eye from him. He's backstage, so.
He's backstage.
But yeah, Disneyland 70th is looking pretty great.
It's looking so amazing. And Paint the Night is going. Mm-hmm. I know I've already talked about Paint the Night, but I love Paint the Night.
Mm-hmm. She's our parade person.
I do. I love, especially like nighttime when things are just like lit up in that twinkly, glowy way. It's just one of my favorite things.
Yeah, she loves it.
It's fantastic. So,
you had a correction to last episode.
Yes. So before we get into this episode, which will mostly be about our Walt Disney Studio tour, which we told you guys we would be giving you lots of detail on, a quick addendum to our last episode. The biggest mistake that we made on our Hollywood trip, we forgot to actually talk about. And this was transportation. So, being Disney people, we did not rent a car because we don't generally do that. Mm-hmm. We generally don't leave the Disney bubble except to go to Universal.
Right.
So, but being this trip was actually very much around the actual city of Hollywood. we absolutely should have rented a car. I went thinking we were just going to sort of lift our way around, which is what I so often do when I'm out of town. And usually it's very reasonable. But
No.
I definitely started sweating on the first night when we went to our Star Wars night at Disneyland. So that lift ride from Universal Hollywood to Disneyland was $100.
Yes.
One way. It cost us $200 to get to Star Wars night and to get back to our hotel. And then anywhere we went, it was kind of too late to do anything else, so we were doing lifts. And man, that pricing, that was, whew.
We should have just rented a car.
We should have rented a car.
Absolutely.
We should, I hate dealing with parking and the logistics of renting a car, but for this, we should not have relied on Uber or Lyft to get us around Hollywood, and especially getting us from Hollywood to Anaheim.
Mm-hmm.
That was a mistake. So seriously, that surge pricing, maybe even their regular pricing, I can't tell you for sure, but we should have rented a car.
Yeah.
We both actually have future Hollywood trips individually, and both of us very much are planning on renting a car.
Absolutely renting a car. I don't even care if I'm staying near Disney and only going to Disney. I will still rent a car because, just to leave the Disney area to go anywhere. Out in California, you're going to need a car. It's not really, I wouldn't walk too much around there, so.
Yeah. After that amazing Warner Brothers studio tour we told you guys about, both of us know that we absolutely have to take our husbands on that tour because it is incredible and we all love movie making so much. But very first thing that we thought was we'll be renting a car.
Yes. And staying at the Lexan, because I really liked that place.
Lexan was lovely.
Yeah,
yes.
Really want to, again, I know that's the second time we're saying that, but it was a great place. So
it was a great place.
And I'm hoping we are putting up a post that'll show what the room looked like, right?
Yes.
We loved it so much.
We are a little bit behind on our hotel room tours, but those are going to get put up, we promise.
Yes.
Things have been a little bit crazy. So, let's dive into the Walt Disney Studio Tour.
Yes, this was amazing. Amazing.
This was one of the highlights of my life.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Not even exaggerating.
I got to hold an Oscar.
We got to hold an Oscar in her hands.
It was too much.
Which I didn't even know. Apparently it was a big dream of Lelo's.
Mm-hmm. Big dream.
And it just had never come up. But in that moment when we were told in the middle of tour that we were going to be able to hold in our hands one of Walt's actual Oscars, Lelo nearly lost it.
Yeah, I couldn't contain myself. That was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
It was.
I can't tell you how many times during this tour I saw something and thought, will they really miss it? Because it's just so much around you. But I promised you I wouldn't get us kicked off the tour, so lots of stuff. But let's start at the beginning, because this was just amazing.
It was. So we get there. A quick shout out, our tour guide, her name was Haiti. Mm-hmm. Loved her. Mm-hmm. She was really such a delight. She was very knowledgeable. You could tell she has that same, because it was a very emotional experience for most of the people on the tour.
Yeah.
I was halfway in tears or fully in tears the entire time, and I thought, oh my God, she's gonna think I'm crazy. But she was just kind of at that same, she understood the connection that people have to this place and to these stories and to all of these things. So she was wonderful. Mm-hmm. She kept saying that she was doing too much, she was almost gonna get in trouble or something because she shared so much information that it even we lagged behind a bit. I guess the tour behind us was kind of on our tails, but I appreciated
me too
every detail that she shared. I could have stayed there for 6 more hours listening to facts and stories and everything.
And she had a lot of those. She was really amazing. Very, very informational. So
yes, she was wonderful. Yeah. I would love to, if I went back for another tour, it would be amazing if I got her again.
Mm-hmm. And again, quick addition or a quick note, and I'm pretty sure we mentioned this last time too, but the Walt Disney Studio Tour is only available if you are D23 Gold members. So if you don't know what that is, look up D23, join. That's the Disney fan club. But that's the only way that you're going to find out when you can do a Walt Disney Studios tour, because that's not a daily thing. Yep. It's only offered occasionally.
It seems, I can't see a pattern.
Yeah.
It's kind of, seems sort of random when they decide to do them.
It was very lucky.
Yeah, it was just lucky that it happened to be happening when we were there.
Yeah. So yes. But there's lots of events that D23 will offer. So yeah, definitely. If you are a Disney fan, you should be a D23 Gold member already, and you get a cool magazine.
You get the quarterly publication, and they're really cool, beautiful artwork. I mean, if you're into Disney history, if you're just into Disney current events, if you're into like, I mean, it just talks about, it's such a great thing. And then, a lot of the events are virtual too. So, because I questioned it for a while because so many of the events they do are in Anaheim. So it's like, is that worth it? Probably not for us. But then they do so many virtual events. That's awesome. So I love the virtual events that they do. And then there's obviously, of course, the expo that's every 2 years, which is not to be missed. So
I think even right now they're, I think they were just doing, I don't know if it ended yet, or if it's still going, but they were doing a Goofy movie. They're taking it to different cities. And you can get tickets if you're D23, so that was pretty cool. The idea of seeing it on the big screen.
If you're into baseball, they do a lot of cool baseball events at the Angels Stadium. They'll do like where you go to a baseball game and then there'll be some sort of Disney element to it that you get to take part in and stuff like that. So it's fun.
Yeah, really fun. So just want to make sure you know. So if you're looking up how to go on a Walt Disney Studios tour, you can't unless you're D23. Okay? That's so important.
All right. So one of my favorite cutest parts of the tour was towards the beginning. It was Pluto's Corner. Obviously, we'll put up pictures of this. But it's on the studio lot. And it wasn't like the biggest deal of the tour, but I just thought it was so super cute. It's one of those things that just sort of showcases the level of detail that just nobody matches how Disney does details, which we all know, right? But there was this sign post in the ground, and it had like directions on it, which they did tell us this sign has been there since like they first were working on this lot. So directionally it's not as accurate anymore, but it stays there for historical reasons. And it's on the corner. And so then on the curb of that corner, it says Pluto's Corner down on the curb. And then there's a whole color scheme. There's a fire hydrant there, of course. And then there's yellow to represent Pluto. And then there's the color of his collar. And it's just this cute, fun little corner that we took pictures. And the just greatest part was over next to the fire hydrant in the concrete, there are Pluto's paw prints. But here's the key. There are 3 paw prints because
the fourth
one of those feet are up in the air near the fire hydrant.
Yes. The super cute little detail.
So
it was absolutely adorable. I loved it.
Yes.
Love things like that. So that was really fun. And as we were walking the grounds around that area, Haiti was telling us that a lot of Saving Mr. Banks was filmed there.
Oh, yes.
Well, I mean, a lot of things were filmed there, but Saving Mr. Banks was a huge portion of it was filmed there. And so she was showing us where Emma Thompson sat to build the little moat,
Yes.
you know, during Saving Mr. Banks when she's upset and she's out in the middle of the studios and she's building her little boat with her tea. So that was really cool. And then where Walt Disney's office was, there's just so much to talk about.
There really, really is. Do you want to talk about going into the original animation building?
The original animation building, I think we took like 1,000 pictures even just out front of it because you could feel the magic as you're about to walk into that building.
There was just an energy.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. And she was telling us about how much Disney cared about his animators and how he really took into account what they needed in order to do the best art possible.
Yes.
And so he had certain blinds and shading built for the windows so that the light wouldn't disturb them during certain parts of the day,
but that they would get like the right kind of an amount of light to work by, like the most detailed, quirky.
And the shape of the building was also built to make sure they got the best of all lighting. Like every room would get the same kind of fantastic lighting. So it's really, really incredible the things that Walt did for his animators in this building. It was awesome. And then there was this what is it, I guess, like the directory that shows you like whose offices are there. We weren't allowed to take pictures of it because of course there's people on there.
Yeah, there was a lot we could take pictures of, and so we took thousands.
Yes,
but there were a few things that were off limits for picture taking.
But it was kind of cool to see the different names on that because I was like, what, he's got an office here at Disney? And that was pretty cool. The guy that does the voice, was it Kristoff's voice in
Kristoff's voice? I'm totally blanking on his name. Kristoff, because he's also the king in Hamilton. I'm totally blanking on his name. We're sorry.
This happened again. Why does this always happen to us? It wasn't Josh, was it? Was it another Josh? It was
Oh, I don't know. Shoot, I don't know. But anyway.
Jonathan Goff.
There you go.
Jonathan Goff. Oh, I saw his name on there and I was like, what? He's got his own office here? That's so cool.
And they also had that display board that specifically named which movies were animated in that building.
Yes.
Because it's no longer the primary animation building, but it's still standing and has Yeah, so it showed, and it was the Renaissance, basically. I mean, those were the ones that were probably the most exciting to see named. Lots more than just the Renaissance.
Yes.
Yes, that was incredible. We were walking the hallway.
And they had the Hall of Kings there at that building, right?
Yes, we saw what they call the Hall of Kings. We weren't allowed to go down it, but through this set of glass doors that were propped open, and there was this hallway, and this was the Hall of Kings. This was where the 9 old men animated.
I had to stop her from running down the hall. She was this close. But it was really cool because apparently people still heard voices and laughter of the 9 kings, even years after they had all passed, or they weren't there anymore. There were other employees that were hearing stuff, and it was kind of freaking them out because it was the voices of these 9 kings. So that was really cool.
That was really
I love a good Disney ghost story.
Do you Ghosted?
Yeah, well, yeah. They make the best ones.
And all along the hallways of the animation building were cells, like huge ones, little ones, and then there were so we got to see the animation of like the animation that didn't necessarily make it into the movies. So like there was one particular picture that showed Genie from Aladdin. Totally different. He's huge. He's like weirdly kind of muscular, and he's green. He's green. So you get to see like the early concepts and designs and kind of the evolution of how they become, what we see in the final movie. That was amazing.
Because that was not a cute Genie. I did not like. He kind of looked like one of those Mucinex blobs, in that commercial.
He did.
It was super ick. I was like, ooh,
they made good changes.
That didn't happen.
They made good changes.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yep. And then there was a few where the glass or whatever kind of lifted up, and Haiti showed us there were several pages in there. So and she explained the animation process, and so there were several cells to show like the movement through a scene, and she explained how there are the primary animators and there are the cleanup animators, and so she's really went into detail into like how pencil meeting paper eventually becomes what we see on screen, and it was amazing.
There's
very
so
amazing.
Many
people involved in animating even just one single character.
It always amazed me how many names I'd see at the end credits of an animated movie, because I'm like, my gosh, what are all those people doing? It's one piece of paper, I don't know. Clearly, I didn't know anything until I went on this tour, and when I realized what it takes, I mean, there's the original animator that will draw everything, but they're the ones that still have like the circles that they make Mickey's face on, the crisscross dissection and everything. And then there are the cleanup animators that'll come in and get rid of all the extra lines to have
smooth things a bit.
Yeah, and then the other one that's gonna finish it up. Like it's like for one picture,
and then the color is also
people.
separate.
Yeah, the color, which that was mind-blowing too. I'm like, and really?
All of the history about like the ink and paint, which would be was primarily women, but like way back in the day, the positions held women weren't animators, but they would be the ink and paint, so they would be the ones actually adding color to a lot of the things.
The makeup artists.
And they even actually had some cases where they had like the actual paint, like the cans of color and the special brushes and things that they would use.
And the swatches of each color with the names, and they would have it like broken down, like Cheshire Cat has these different colors in him. And it's just so detailed. I was like, wow, that it was amazing.
It was amazing. In that same one of those hallways too, they had some big glass display cases where they had book props, which was so cool. So they had the Isle of Naboombu from Bedknobs and Broomsticks, that paperback book that the little kid carries around. They had
the Hocus Pocus book.
Yes,
with the eye in it.
They actually had that. They had the fairy tale book from Once Upon a Time. They had a couple of those books that like open at the beginning of the older movies.
Snow White, Sleeping Beauty. Yep.
Yes, and they had oh my gosh, the witchcraft book also from Bedknobs and Broomsticks, the one that was torn in half.
They had that Deadpool sketchbook, or that black Deadpool book that I have to double check and see where was that from, but that was really cool.
That was so amazing.
Yeah.
As both a Disney lover and a book lover, that was an incredible moment.
Yeah.
Yes. We also saw an actual animator's office, so we got to see how their desk and everything is set up, which might sound boring, but an animator's desk is not a normal office desk. This was actually a very cool thing to see. The way that it's like slanted, and the way that has these mechanics to go with how you turn things around and draw, and it was so incredible.
But then all little Disney additions around it. It was like, it's just the happiest desk on earth.
It is.
Yeah,
It's like exactly what you would think as far as the surrounding items.
Yeah.
It
felt like you were at Disneyland.
I wish we could have gone in and touched it.
We wanted to touch everything. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
Touch everything. That's why they put everything behind glass.
I know. They knew. Like, these guys are nuts.
It's not to protect it from dust. It's to protect it from people like us.
Yeah. It was ridiculous.
So yeah.
The Olympic torch.
Yes.
We saw the 1960 Olympic torch.
Apparently that was a gift to the studios. That was cool.
That's very cool. Yep. Again, getting close to things I thought never in my lifetime would I ever get close to see. So that was pretty cool.
That is so cool.
But I think the biggest deal for us, of course, was going to be Walt's office, like his actual office. Now, they said that they had emptied it out at one point. Something else was in there, and then they decided to restore it.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they did was they restored absolutely everything exactly the way it was when Walt passed away. Every book.
Yes.
Everything is in exactly the same place that it was.
Like, if there was a book on its side, that book is on its side.
Mm-hmm.
If it was, he had this one, it was a set of books, like a set of volumes, and one of the volumes was missing, and they said, because at the time when Walt passed away, as of the last day that he was in his office, that book wasn't there because someone else was reading it in another place, and so that book is not in his office. It's intentionally kept out so that, I mean, everything, the pencil on the desk, the little book of matches, just every detail was. So you walk into that office and it's like going back in time to the last time that Walt sat at that desk.
Yeah. Like, gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. It was amazing. Before we walk into the office, they have us watch this little film to kind of give you an idea about the office and what it went through and the restoration and everything. And it was really, really cool. So we got to see that. Then we walked into the office and they have the Sherman Brothers piano in his office, which, like, from our past episodes, we have a thing about the Sherman Brothers, and we definitely the thing about their piano. It's magical. It's pure magic. Yep. So to see it right there, and it had like music on the music stand, and it was just had all these like pictures and all this Disney stuff on top of it. It was awesome.
And Haiti talked about that fact we shared in a previous episode about Sherman playing the Tuppence. I call it Tuppence, but I think it's actually called Feed the Birds.
Yeah, it is Feed the Birds.
Yeah. She also talked about that, him playing Feed the Birds on that piano for Walt in his office, and then that being the song that ended up in Once Upon a Studio. So that was incredible. That was just, that room was so...
It was
indescribable.
Yeah.
It was...
They had the bronzed booties of his daughters. They actually didn't know which one was which.
Yep.
They're not sure, but they had pictures of his daughters in there, and just... It was really, really cool. And a bunch of miniatures. They did say that Walt was really, really into miniatures. Mm-hmm. So people from all over the world would come and they would bring him little miniature sets of something or a little miniature of something. Mm-hmm. So he was just like kind of obsessed with them. And then, that tiki thing.
Yeah, so hanging in his office, like from the ceiling, is a very small, like old style looking bird cage. And inside of it was a very small mechanical bird that he brought back from one of his trips. And this was he brought this bird back and basically went to his Imagineers and said, make this, like reverse engineer and make this mechanical bird. And that little trinket is what we can thank for the Enchanted Tiki Room.
Mm-hmm. He just loved it. He was obsessed with this little guy. So it's pretty cool to see just this little brass bird in like a little brass cage just hanging up in his office. But it was really, really cool. And it did definitely give you like that tiki vibe. So that was really cool to see. We also saw he had like a figurine of a Little Mermaid because he had always wanted to do a Little Mermaid animation movie, or animated movie. So he had already had that kind of in his mind when he passed. So that was really cool to see that. And then just off of his office, it was his working office, which is where he would sit down with other people and they would start to collaborate. Mm-hmm. And that was just a room full of ashtrays. It was crazy. I've never seen so many ashtrays in my life. These guys are smokers.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yes.
And then he had his little kitchenette there that had all the stuff to make chili, because apparently Walt Disney was like obsessed with his own chili.
Yes, there's a very special chili recipe. It was Walt's favorite thing in the world, and they serve it in Disneyland, actually. There's one restaurant, and shoot, we should have looked. I don't remember the specific. We're going to look it up.
We're bad at this today.
You can get Walt's favorite chili, which is also... quick little thing, supposed to be one of the signature dishes in the new 1923 restaurant on the Disney Treasure. Mm-hmm. So that will be really cool. But yes, so there was a little kitchenette attached to this working office, there was like an open sort of window thing where you could see in and out of it. You should tell about the GM deal with the cabinets.
Oh, that. So they had GM go in, and GM did this lighting thing so that they lit up each individual cabinet. It was really cool because it's like they're the happiest cabinets ever. You just open it up, and it was just like a display model.
Like, cabinets
really cool.
did not light up in 1960.
No,
like that was not a thing.
But Disney needed to know what he was grabbing, so they're like, "We're gonna do it for you, Walt."
So GM came in and was like, "Let us light your cabinets for you."
It's really cool. I mean, I guess nowadays it doesn't sound too exciting, but back then it was a big deal.
Yeah.
So
you got to put it in the context of back then.
Yeah.
Like,
but it was really neat because they left out like this stuff that he used to make a salad, and then like there was a picture of him making the salad using those exact same tools and the bowl and everything that they had laying out. So it was just really, really neat. Really neat. And like amazing and sad and beautiful all at the same time. It was just very wow. You know, that's all I can really say. Wow. You could still feel him there.
You could. There was just this energy that was, I'll never forget.
Yeah. And then when we left that area, we walked outside.
Which, by the way, was the wrong order. That should have been
the main event.
That should have been the main event, followed maybe by the Legends Plaza. Mm-hmm. But it was like, because now we're going to tell you a few of the other things we went and did, but none of them top being in Walt's office near that piano.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. So the next few things are going to be like, oh, cool. But when we left that building, outside she shows us, and they have little plaques on them. But apparently, whatever movie studio owned the Titanic, I guess, was absorbed by Disney. And so suddenly they have all these benches showing up, and they're all the benches that were out on the main decks of the Titanic in the movie. And so they just have just a crap ton of these benches all over the place with these things that say from the movie Titanic. I was like, that's so random, but it was just, all these benches everywhere. So that was kind of cool. So we got to see a lot of those. I took, of course, pictures of those. We'll see those pictures. And then she takes us into the area with the archives.
Yes.
So, the archives. Start with that, because then I can talk about the Oscar. But go ahead. You start with the archives.
So we go into the archives, which is in the Frank G. Wells building. So now we're emotional again, just walking through a pair of doors. It's a Frank G. Wells building where we go to the archives. This is another one of those places where we were limited on the pictures we can take. So we'll post what we were allowed to take. But yeah, so we walked into the sort of lobby-ish area, I guess. Which must also be actively used for not just storing things, because there were people there, like on computers and stuff, very involved in some kind of work.
Yeah.
There was also a multi-plane camera. There are 3 of these cameras in the world that Walt created, because very early on, like Fantasia days, when the tech did not exist for what Walt wanted to do, Walt did exactly what Walt always did, which was someone said, that can't happen because what you want doesn't exist. What did he do? He made it exist.
Yes.
So, of the many things we can thank him for, this camera is
insane.
20 feet tall. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But it's incredible. It's how they were able to control layers of scenery back in the day, and it's awesome. So we got to actually walk right up to that. Like, you could just really look at it, look at all the mechanics and everything super close. Up above it, we saw one of the Iron Man suits.
The Mark 1, guys.
Yes,
the Mark
looking
1.
down at
just
us.
looking at us. Like, it was right there. I was so mad. I was like, why can't we go up there? And then we turn around and we look up, and there is Mjolnir. I was like, I can't handle it. All the Marvel stuff is up there, and it was out of our reach. We weren't allowed to go up there. But very exciting to see.
I like Meow Meow better. I love her. The intern.
Yeah.
I love her. She's the best. I also love her
Darcy?
in WandaVision. Yeah.
Yeah, Darcy.
Remember she called it Meow Meow.
Meow Meow. That's right.
I thought it was great.
I love her. She's a cute actress.
Oh, I know. I think she's great.
We're sidetracked. It was Mjolnir. And
it was Meow Meow.
Yeah. And it was next to a Brave New World poster or something like that. It was,
Mm-hmm.
So that was, I think, before the movie came out. So that was kind of cool. We got to see some extra...
A big display case.
Display stuff about it, yeah.
Just kind of different. There was like a couple stuffed animals. There was it was very similar to that display case at the Disneyland Hotel. It just kind of had a bunch of random Disney objects and items since, forever. So it was cool. So then we actually walk through this door into kind of an office. It definitely was an office space, but it was a bigger room. It had a timeline up on the wall of all the, you know, major things that have happened throughout Disney history. And there was a director's chair. Is that where we saw Walt's director's chair? Or was that someone else's?
No, that was Walt's.
So we saw Walt's director's chair. There's just more amazing things to look at, statues, books, and then through another door where we got to look through it but not go through it. This was actually the archives. So through that door are things there's not much I wouldn't give to actually go in and see and touch. I can say that. And I saw on the top of a filing cabinet a tiki bird.
Did you?
Yes, I did. I saw him.
Definitely snuck some pictures of that. Like, I zoomed in and did what I could because I was like, just in case. I don't know what's even there.
So yes, so I saw an old, he was kind of behind some stuff. I wasn't able to tell which one he was, but he was a tiki bird. 100% for sure. I saw an old tiki bird on top of a filing cabinet through this door.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, and because I asked Haiti, I was like, is that a tiki bird? I think that's a tiki bird. And she said, yep, that's a tiki bird.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
We got to see a lot of statues down there. Oh, didn't we see the statues with the 7 dwarves? The little statues?
We saw a replica.
Oh, okay.
Because the actual Oscar with the 7 little Oscars is at the Family Museum in San Francisco.
That's right.
So they keep a replica of it at the studios.
Because they had other stuff there that was real.
Yes.
But that was the replica.
Yeah.
That would be why it wasn't in the case. It was on top of it.
Yeah. I think there were only 2 or 3 things maybe that she said were replicas, but everything else was very, very, was the thing.
Yeah.
And the only reason they did a replica of that Oscar is obviously because they want to have that one at the Family Museum. So.
It was still really cool. Really
but
cool.
in this room is where you got to live one of your dreams.
Oh my gosh. So she says that we're going to all get to hold one of Walt's Oscars. And I was like, what? And so excited. We all get into line. And so we're standing in line to take, and it, guys, they are heavy.
They are.
Ooh, they were heavy. But I got to hold it in my hand. I took a bunch of pictures of my hands holding it. I took a bunch of pictures of me in front of his chair because he had his director's chair there, which, by the way, is also one of the best director's chairs ever. Like, you know, you have the normal black strap director's chair. Walt Disney had like a leather one with like all this stuff like carved into it. It was amazing. It was awesome.
Like it would be a normal.
I know. I don't know what I was thinking. But I have a picture with that, and the only thing I'm sad about personally is that I was dressed awful for this tour because of all the circumstances in the morning getting there and everything. It was incredible. So crazy. So I raced there, but I did not look great. So all these pictures holding these lifelong dream things, it's not cute. We're gonna post them anyway. Be kind.
She looked beautiful.
No, it's not.
She looked beautiful.
She's absolutely lying to all of you. It was a rough day. But whatever, it doesn't matter. I got to hold an Oscar statue.
You got to hold
I got
an
to hold
Oscar.
Walt's Oscar statue. That was next level.
On the same trip where you got to walk across the red carpet and see the outside of the Dolby Theater.
You better believe it. I wanted to leave a footprint there. I was so excited. That was amazing. But yeah, so that's why I'm really excited because my husband and I are going to be going back later this year. And we're going to go, of course, to the Dolby Studios and to the museum, the Academy of Motion Pictures and Sciences Museum. We're going to go check that out. So pretty excited to do that. And I am definitely, I'm not going to force him to go to Disneyland because I want to take him on tours. So I definitely want to take him to the Warner Brothers Studios tour. And I'm going to hopefully see that there's a D23 one coming up when we're, out there. Because he needs to go.
Yes.
This was incredible.
It was so incredible.
And we walked by,
everything?
Yeah, all the sound stages. They had the Julie Andrews sound stage.
Yes, the sound stage name for Julie Andrews.
They had the Annette Funicello one.
Yes.
And then, what else do they have? Oh, the water tower was there. That beautiful
the
water tower. It was just amazing.
We saw, sorta, the Sorcerer's Hat that's at the current animation building. We saw it sort of like in the distance between 2 buildings. Apparently there was something going on over there. So unfortunately we didn't get to go up close to the current animation building. We only saw it from a distance, but it was still amazing. It was there. It was right there.
I don't know if I could have handled more information about animation. My brain was already on overload. There's so much to learn.
Trying to take it all in and take pictures of everything.
Yeah.
It's hard.
But truthfully, if I had to pick between the 2 animation buildings, I'm glad we saw the one that we did.
Yes.
For sure. Because that's where all the history, that's what I wanted to be a part of. So that was great.
Yes.
And then, Legends Plaza.
The Legends Plaza.
First of all, the building behind Legends Plaza that has the 7 doors.
Can we go back to the archives?
Yes, sorry.
No,
that's okay. Go
ahead. Because I want to tell our cool story about the founder of the archives. So we went down to the basement, actually, And it looked like pretty normal basement hallways, you know, pipes above you and everything. But Haiti told us about in this hallway, apparently. So back before there was an archives, back before, you know, anyone was even thinking that any of these, you know, drawings and props and movie pieces had any value beyond working on the project at the time, things just got thrown out. So, you know, they would make, I mean, just imagine this, Disney adults, they make Dumbo, right? And they wrap Dumbo. It's done. What happens to all of those drawings of Dumbo, the models and everything that they're working with? They throw it away.
They threw it all away.
Have you ever heard anything so tragic in your life or upsetting?
Mm-hmm.
Just throw it away. Some children of people who worked for Disney, apparently, the type of paper that they used to have the cells on had apparently a very, very slick texture to them. And some children figured out that you could use these to basically slip and slide down this hallway. And so she even showed us this hallway where apparently...
It's like a basement cement hallway.
Yes. So as cute as that might sound, these children had their feet
on Sleeping Beauty's face.
On Sleeping Beauty's face.
As they're sliding it down a dirty, disgusting hallway floor.
Yes.
And destroying those cells.
So that's what used to happen.
Horrifying.
Now, separate story. Stay with me. They're going to link up. When we were in Walt's office, she told us how part of Walt's morning routine is he would go into his office every morning and there would be a stack of kind of an index card size, like a picture, and they were autograph cards. They were what he would autograph because he would take them with him into the park because he was so often asked for autographs in the park. And he didn't want to actually be autographing in the park. I guess that just kind of got cumbersome after a while. So he would do a stack of these every morning. He would take them with him, and if anyone asked him for an autograph, he would give him one of these cards. So one day he's in this park, and this young boy comes up to him, super excited to meet Mr. Disney, and he asks for an autograph. And unfortunately, at that point, Walt was out for the day. He'd given them all out. And he told this boy, I'm so sorry that I don't have any on me right now, and I don't have a pen on me right now, but if you write into the studio, I will make sure that you get one. And sure enough, that little boy did write into the studio, and Walt did send him one of these autograph cards and a little something extra that unfortunately I don't remember what it was. But anyway, that little boy grew up to be the founder of the Disney Archives. Seems Dave Smith.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's such a cool story. It's such a full circle type story, and it's also just like, it really shows that's like you never know what moment or like effect you potentially have on, like, something could mean nothing to you and could be everything to someone else, right? I mean, the smallest little moment that can set someone on a path, I just think those make such interesting stories.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, this little boy that was just had no connection to Disney, but saw him in the park one day, and then grew up to be the reason that cells are no longer used for slip and slide activities.
Oh my gosh, I cannot even believe you did that. That's something my kids would have done. Man.
Yep, so he came along and he apparently went to the animators and all the people of Disney and basically told them, like, hey, don't throw stuff away. Like, please come to me, bring me stuff, let me decide if it, it should be preserved in some way. And even the trash, he spoke to the custodial staff and said, if you ever notice things, when you're cleaning offices in the trash cans or anything like that, please let me know if anything looks interesting. And one of the custodians did come to him. He said he was emptying a trash can and there was like a thunk. And it was a prop from Mary Poppins that was just being thrown away.
Yep.
And he said, thank you. Yes, this is incredible. And so, that got saved. So, but Dave Smith, founder of the Archives, little boy who wanted an autograph.
So great. Because he was one of the people helping to restore his office, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So imagine, because I saw
exactly
those, I saw those cards on the desk, and imagine he was just putting them there and how that must have felt,
I can't even imagine.
It was awesome. Just the history in this place was just incredible.
It was like tactile almost, just the air in these hallways. So, sorry, Legends Plaza.
Oh yes, Legends Plaza. So the building with the 7 dwarves. Okay, so they have the building behind the Legends Plaza. And the upper frames, the upper roofs, I guess, of this building are held up by stone statues of each of the 7 dwarfs. And they said that they did that because this whole area, the studios, was all built on the money that was made by Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So the dwarves are basically the building blocks of the studios. And so they created this building with them in it, and it's just amazing. And then the plaza, it's
beautiful.
Our little furry friends are trying to
Our furry friends are
move
playing
around
with
the camera. So there's this plaza, but instead of having like footprints in the ground, they had handprints in like these beautiful plaques up on the walls. And so we went around and just looked at everybody. I mean, they had Marie Costa, who was the original voice of Sleeping Beauty. Yes. And they had all four of the Golden Girls. I mean, all of these people that were named Disney legends. Yeah, and it was in music, animation, Imagineering, acting. It was incredible. So we saw Robert Downey Jr., we saw Chadwick Boseman, like all of these guys were all commemorated in certain areas, and
all the princesses
were there.
Robin Williams
was there. And it was kind of cool because they had everybody kind of like in their little cliques. Like a lot of the Star Wars were together, a lot of Marvel was together, the princesses were a little scattered, but for the most part some of them were together, except for the really older ones. So it was really, really beautiful to see all of them. And I can't tell you how many pictures we've got of us putting our hands in the handprints of Robin Williams or,
Betty White.
Yes. I love that one too.
Mills.
Robert Downey Jr. Carrie Fisher. Oh, that was rough.
We saw the big, huge statue. So like the big, huge statue of the small statue, the Legends, the equivalent of the Oscar.
Yeah.
And that it's such a magical piece of art. And the symbolism behind it is just incredible, and it was amazing. I stood there and just stared at it for a while.
It's this statue. It's a hand holding a wand, and there's just all like the musical notes are coming out of it, but then underneath it there's like a scroll of film, and then there's a castle, and just all of this built around this hand that's holding up this wand. And it's amazing. And if you stand from far away, the way that everything is built together, it looks like like a treble clef or something from music notes. It ends up all kind of looking like a music note from far away. It was just really cool. It was built, it's amazing.
The hand symbolized craftsmanship, the wand symbolized imagination. It was just
it's very beautiful. Yeah, and you got to see it from just walk around and see it from all sides. It was amazing. It really was. Yeah, I might have to have a tattoo of that at some point someday.
That would be a good one. I understand why when Josh Gad became a Disney legend and he said, "I will now be known as Disney Legend, Josh Gad everywhere," and I was like, you know what? If I ever became a Disney legend, exactly the same.
Yeah,
I'd be like, I'm Disney Legend, Dani. Now, thank you.
Another name change.
Never omit the Disney Legend part.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yes, it really, really was. Oh, it was incredible. It was just...
And then we got to shop in the employee store.
Oh, yes. Both because there's like the normal gift shop, and then there was the actual cast member store.
Yeah, that was great.
Yes. I got these ears. I got a few pairs of ears, but these were my special ones from the studio.
You got that.
And I got my awesome hoodie that says
Walt Disney Studios, Burbank, California.
Yep.
I got my hubby a Lucasfilm jacket. He really liked that one. And then we got some. We got some D23 stuff. Didn't they have some D23 jackets and stuff?
Yes, I got there was a reversible D23 jacket. It was an $80 jacket on sale for $24.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's mine. And I got that really cool backpack, the same backpack that you got at D23 that I've envied ever since. Got my own now. And it's an awesome backpack.
It is great.
But, yep, and I found some cute Marie stuff for my little Marie lover at home. And it's so funny. Most of the trip, and even the trip before that, so I love Tigger. Tigger's the only thing that I really like out of the whole Pooh world. And so I've complained several times about how I can't find Tigger ears. I feel like I've seen Pooh ears many, many times. I'm like, why is Tigger not getting more love? And so then, of all places, like we've been to the parks, we've been everywhere, I've never found them. I wasn't even thinking about it anymore. But there were Tigger ears there at the studio store. I was like, well, look at that. There were my Tigger ears.
Yep. She grabbed those. They're so cute.
Yep.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun merchandise there. Some stuff that I felt like I hadn't seen at the park. They had sold out at the park, but they still had a couple in their store, and that was exciting.
They had the Cinderella ears.
The Cinderella ears,
Yeah,
yep. They
that
had
had
the
sold out
Cinderella ears.
everywhere.
Mhm. Yep. So that was a lot of fun. But just the merchandise and everything. Anything that's at Walt Disney Studios, we were like, oh, do we get that? It's so cool. We don't know when we're going to do this again.
Special limited edition pins.
Yeah.
I definitely grabbed a handful of limited edition pins.
Yeah, we had a good time. But definitely a fun place for merch, guys. And I highly recommend, again, become a D23 Gold member so you can have an opportunity to snag some tickets to do this tour. The tour was absolutely amazing. Fantastic.
It so was.
1000% would tell you guys, do this.
If you're a Disney fan,
Yeah.
this is an incredible, incredible experience. Especially if you're like particularly into the history of everything.
Yeah.
It really, really is. Because I mean, when you think about the fact that that's not just the original Disney animation building, that's the original animation building. And
That's like
there's-
you're walking the streets that Walt was walking. I mean, it's just, and you could feel it. You could feel it there.
can.
And even all of the cast members there, everybody they just had this certain like reverence, this certain respect for where they were working. It's like they understood these are like hallowed grounds.
Yes.
So it was just an amazing experience. So highly recommend that you guys do that.
So incredible.
Especially if you're already going to be in the Disneyland area for the Disneyland 70th anniversary. If you are there, drop a comment below and let us know what crystal jewelry you're going to be picking up so you can pick one up for me too. That'd be awesome.
And pop over to Burbank.
Yes.
Rent a car.
Rent a car.
Rent a car. There's actually a car rental place very, very near Disneyland. So if you're already staying in the Disney bubble, maybe just go get a car, even just for the day. Go over.
I highly recommend it. Yeah, do not Uber.
Oh, don't.
No.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Disaster. Disaster.
Or just make sure you're budgeting for ridiculousness.
Rather just get a car.
Yeah.
Rent it. And then you can throw all your merch in the car and then continue shopping. It's so much easier.
I almost miss having a stroller in the parks because it held all the stuff. I mean, I know a stroller also came with its own like pain in the ass parts for sure, but I mean, it basically doubles as a shopping cart, which sometimes.
I know for my nephews, my nephews were way too big for the stroller, but we're happy to shove them in there. Like, just get in there. Because it just controls them. But for merch, that's what my hubby's for. My hubby carries all my merch for me. God bless him. Your hubby carries all my merch for me. I have pictures of that too. I really load these guys up. That D23, I almost broke Dan's hands. They're crazy. He was double fisting like huge bags.
So much stuff.
I have that horrible picture you took of me with all of my merch on the bed in front of me.
You can't even see her bed. Her queen size bed is like, you literally don't see an inch of the bed.
Yeah. I'm posting a bunch of pictures from D23 actually on our Instagram, so you'll see that picture in there.
It's great. It's one of my favorites.
It's rough. But that's all we had for you today. We just wanted to talk about the Walt Disney Studios tour. We're really excited to share that with you guys. And to thank you once again for helping us hit over 100 downloads. That's really exciting. We are going to plan, if we hit 1,000 downloads, we are going to plan a surprise giveaway for you guys. So really excited about that. We'll give you more info as we creep closer to that number. So tell all your friends. And I think
to listen to some crazy, inappropriate Disney adults.
Yeah. Hey, we were positive this time. High five.
We were positive.
Positive. Yay, we loved everything.
Did I even say any bad words?
No.
I don't think I did this time.
This was great. So, Dan,
we
can go ahead and
awesome.
say... I was about to say this is okay for kids. Never mind. Scratch that. And on with the show as usual. All right. Okay, so we will see you guys next time with some more fun tidbits and, just stuff to share. And until then, I'm Lelo. This is Dani. And we'll see you next time. Bye.